Hey guys, here's the gear for today. I couldn't help but come back to Spiced. It's an awesome scent from Seaforth, and Spearhead is the company that brought back the Seaforth brand. Seaforth being one that has been active for a while, decades ago. And the new thing is this blade, the Bic Chrome or something like that. Going to put it in the Wolfman WR1 46 gap and see how it does. And then we've got the favorite brush of mine. One of my big favorites is the Saponificio Varesino Manchurian, I think they call it a white, high mountain Manchuria white or something like that. They're combining a bunch of names for this thing. This is what it looks like dry. So I'm going to get it in some water here soon. All right, let us disassemble and put in the blade. That's what the Wolfman WR1 looks like. Holds the blade very well. The blade here, the Bic Platinum Chrome, a very distinctive and easy to recognize wrapper. Yeah. Bic Chrome Platinum. Says the same thing on the opposite side. It's one that I tried as a part of a sampler early on in my shaving journey, and it didn't work for me, but I was so inexperienced back then that, and I give this advice out so many times, I wasn't up to the task of really shaving with it at that point. My technique far overshadowed any issues there might be with the blade. Now, maybe it's not a great blade for me. It definitely did not do well in the beginning. But what one should usually assume is that it was my technique early on, and I have just jumped on several other blades as my favorites, and there's been very few that I haven't gone back and revisited. I need to try the Shark again. That was one of the worst ones for me back in the early days. Other people say it's their favorite blade. For me, it didn't work very well at all. This Bic Chrome Platinum just didn't work very well. So since I'm trying new fresh blades in an effort to find what matches this razor, I thought, wait a minute, why don't I try one that didn't do well for me in the very, very early days? And let's just see if my technique has solidified enough, to where it's better for me now. All right, Seaforth Spiced. Man, I tell you what, the Spearhead formula that he put together is a wonderful shaving soap. And so I knew that purchasing this Spiced was going to be a good buy, and it was. Mandarin, aldehydes, carnation, anise, cinnamon, clove, cardamom, benzoin, tonka, and vanilla. And oh man, it's so good. It is reminiscent of the Old Spice type scent. And so if you're a fan of that, I think you should give this one a shot. But it's not at all the same. It's a modern twist with that, and this is kind of cliche, but it really is true. It's a modern twist, but it does definitely keep its roots in those classic pieces and the classic notes that those fans of us of the Old Spice will enjoy. And so it kind of bridges the gap between new and old, and it does it with a great performing soap base. All right, get my face wet. Okay, now the brush has, my setup and stuff has been rather quick today, and so the brush has only had about 4 minutes to be in the water. Let's just roll with it and see what happens anyway. It may not be as soft in the tips during that first pass as it usually is. Okay, so we'll shake most of that water out. And then I forgot to look and see how much. Let's just do the 30-second load. We'll start at the 04 point. Nice round number. It's easy to add to 04. You know, 30 might be too much. But it has been a little while since I used this soap. Why don't we do 20 instead? Or 25. So I'll be going to the 29 mark. There we go. Kind of looks like we have gathered some good suds. It's not just the early stuff. Really nice. Hints of vanilla. The clove is definitely something that's standing out right now. Fortunately, there's enough other seasoning in there, since clove is not a favorite of mine at all. Enough else is with that clove to make it enjoyable, which is something. All right, let's work on the lather. Last two shaves I have worked with Icarus, and I have taken it too wet both times. Added too much water, so I made a note, and I may turn back to, because after all, that Admiral scent that I was using is just amazing, even if I screw up the base. Now this felt very dry. This one here felt very dry at first when I was working the brush around in the bowl, and so I just immediately put in a teaspoon. No harm in doing that. You can play around with speed and adding. If you want to add a little bit at a time, that's fine too. But with the Icarus, I just added too much water. It didn't look like it was too much. It was all elastic and wonderful. But then when I got it, and I was using a boar brush, a good boar, a Smoke Owners Club, and it got it on my face and it just kind of died. The easy solution was just to go back to the tub for about 4 or 5 seconds and put some, more soap on the brush, and then it would even out the wet stuff that was on my face. And sure enough, that is exactly how everything got fixed. But I was just, in my mind, I just wasn't so, I didn't have this picture that Icarus was something that I had to run drier than usual, but I guess maybe it's true and I just never noticed it. Maybe I was always overloading the soap to me, like with a 50, 60 second load or something like that. Maybe I was just always doing that and just never had any issues with the water. Don't know why, so it's a little bit surprising. Seaforth is coming together very well. Look at that lather. The water is just smoothing it out. Really hydrated, creamy. So that's 4 teaspoons. That looks fantastic. See how it moves on its own there? Let's just go with this. It'd be funny if I switch back to the other side now and I underwatered the Seaforth. Rinse my face. Cool water is what I'm using. Kind of took a cold downturn lately, and so the tap water, while it was starting to warm up a little bit from the winter, it kind of step back a little bit to something fairly cool. Yeah, this one's not dying at all. Matter of fact, I might just add a little bit more water. Of course, the brush. You know, I think in both cases I had been able to soak that boar brush for quite, 15 minutes, quite some time. And so it doesn't have as many bristles as this brush. And so I think this brush probably picks up soap a lot easier than that boar does. But, I think I may revisit the Admiral tomorrow. Go for a longer load, that sort of thing. Run it a little drier. Oh man, the scent on this is just wonderful. Very warm, spicy. I can smell the orange. A little bit of the cinnamon. I think the cardamom. Definitely the vanilla. Unfortunately, a few of the notes I don't really know all that well. I think the aldehydes were a great addition. They're not super strong here. I like Dr. John's Strangelove, and it has very significant aldehydes, and I really like that with his. All right, here we go. So let's see how this Bic. A lot of people like it. It's mentioned a lot. And so that finally reminded me, hey, you have not shaved with this blade in years. Now, I'm working on a day and a half of growth here. It's not moving through the stubble super easy. It's kind of, stubble is tripping it up just a little bit, but it does seem to be cutting cleanly. I'm not experiencing any tugging. So it's a comfortable shave. See how it ends up. All right, after the rinse, I'm glad I went for the 25 seconds. I'm going to have a little bit of margin left over, but not tons. Brush feels great. Good combo. This is one of the mildest WR1 gaps that I've heard of. And I think a lot of the guys who like Wolfman razors are the kind of folks who especially like the higher gaps. And so it's uncommon. Of course, the razor's moving easily now. The blade feel is a little bit there, but it's a good kind of blade feel. Oh, nice and slick. Man, that feels good. A little bit of touching up right here. So you can just kind of keep keep going by bringing in that, moving the lather around a little bit if you have some trouble issues that you want to keep hitting. The second pass is as easily done as that. And sure enough, this is going to be plenty for the third, and I've got another pass left in the bowl, so that's kind of perfect. I mean, I might be able to squeeze 2 passes out of that because, you know, there was a little bit more left in the brush after I just put it down. So this has been a comfortable blade. It did give me a little bit of blade feel, which is probably good. A lot of times that lets you know that it's working. This is a wet lather. It's dripping off my blade easily. Keeping my loose hold on the blade as usual. Just enough grip. Just enough pressure to hold it onto my skin. I think over here I feel just a little bit of tenderness, like I had a miss stroke or something. Excellent lubrication, excellent slickness at the secondary level. It's not drying out at all. You know, after you have shaved in that area for a little while. Even if I don't kind of reappropriate the lather, it's still remarkable. So obviously he's got some conditioning elements in there, but they're not creating a, they're not slowing down the slickness of the lather. It's like the perfect blend for me. And a good rinse now. Well, turns out for this razor, that is an excellent blade. It's funny now, the Rapira Platinum Luxe wasn't one that did a great job for me in other razors. Tried it recently in this one, and it turns out to be really nice. This one's even better, the Bic Chrome Platinum. I have used it a few years ago and now, and it's a totally different story. It is a different razor that I used back then, of course, but it's probably just my technique. It was a reasonably comfortable shave. I do still have a little bit of a weirdness over here, but I don't think I have any weepers. In general, it was very comfortable. Wasn't super smooth, but now that I've tried so many blades in this razor, I'm beginning to think that maybe this particular head is just not going to offer that super smooth cut like maybe the Fatigué closed comb, the Gentile gives me, and a few others like some of the lower gap carve razors. And so it's just the way it goes sometimes. This is a lower gap WR1, lower gap Wolfman, but it is not going to, even if you keep lowering the gap, it's just not going to take on the identity of the same type of lower gap or milder razors in other brands. It's just all about placements and angles and things like that with the blade edge at the top and top cap and the base plate. I'm getting a good amount of scent from the soap still around me, but let's just add to it with History 101, another strong scent, and this is from Summer Break. And let's see how it competes or is a complement to the Seaforth, the spiced. I'm getting a little bit of kind of vague alcohol burn in the typical areas around here, and it's gone. So nice. Oh man, I would think that, I mean, that could end up to be just the perfect combination with these like gunpowder and leather notes and stuff that are in here, combining with the just awesomeness of the spiced. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Excellent. The lather, terrific with the Seaforth today. Excellent job by the maker there. And we used 4.5 teaspoons of water to get there. Got there pretty quick, just a few minutes. The blade is a good match for this razor in terms of delivering a close cut for sure. And it's pretty comfortable. And so that's a good success as well. I think maybe what I'm finding is that this razor is right at that mild point. I've said this a few times now, that it really needs fresher blades, because if they dull and change geometry just a little bit, it's right on that edge, and then they stop being as effective at cutting, since it's such a mild razor. I haven't had that happen to me before. I've got lots of mild razors, but this is the one where that's showing me some new attribute about the shaving hobby. I can tell you right now, if I like this blade, it's definitely not going to be because of the wrapper. I don't like the black and yellow, and it's so busy, and there's no place for me to put my dots, and so I have to put my usage dots on the inside. But hey, we'll just give this guy a shot, put him away for next time. Maybe, now that I know that he works well in this razor, I might try him in something else tomorrow. Might be a good idea, instead of keeping going with the Wolfman. I've got a carve A with me, and so that might be a good idea. All right, guys, I think we are good. I'm enjoying the scent on my hands from the splash, the History 101 from summer break, and it did definitely overwhelmed the spice from the soap. But I wouldn't be surprised if they started to intermingle a little bit here. The alcohol burn subsided very quickly. I'm glad it's not super concentrated. And I wouldn't be surprised if we had some melding of the scents here for a little while, although the aftershave is one of those that's geared to lasting longer, as opposed to the soap, which is geared for kind of just the environment right now, the shave itself. All right, well, the Bic Chrome Platinum, how about that? It did well. And it deserves, at least based on this shave, it deserves more tries with more of my razors. So I think we'll do that. And I think I've covered how much I loved the soap and the brush, and the lather was terrific. It was just right. It was just perfect. Very good today. All right, you guys, take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves, and I hope there's been something in this video to help you out. Good day.